Hi there, and welcome to Little Garden on the Prairies. So, if you've been following me along on my channel, you will know that I have always been a diehard root stout method follower when it comes to planting my potatoes. I've been following that process of just laying out layers of thick straw, thick hay, just pulling it away, putting my potatoes right on the ground, covering it up with straw, and just letting it grow. So there is no rototilling, there's very little weeding, there's very little watering, and it has worked out really well for me. But this year I made a switch and I'm really excited about it because I'm going pretty much 100% container gardening. So I just got a new garden bed all set up here for my potatoes. I'm going to show you how I did that, how I planted my potatoes in there, and how it's comparing to the Ruth Stout method. I'm kind of wondering if I made the right choice or not. So keep watching and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here is my newest raised garden bed that I purchased from Grobox Garden Beds. This is not a sponsored video, but I am an affiliate with Grobox. I love their garden beds. This is my fourth one now, and I have the link to their products in the description box below for you to check out. So a couple things I really like about my newest grow box is this design. It looks really nice in the garden aesthetically. It's a unique shape. And if you compare the square footage that you're getting in this compared to say two of these, you are actually getting, more square foot of growing space per dollar. So it's a better value using one of these. You can get a lot more growing in here. And I thought this would work great for my potatoes. So getting it set up according to the instructions, I think they said about an hour's time to assemble. I was doing this all by myself, so I think it took a little bit longer. I had to take a few breaks, but they have great instructions. They're easy to put together. One thing about these over, a cheaper ones is they come with this rubber edging that you put around, so there's no sharp edges, and these have a 20-year guarantee. So great product. So whenever you're setting up a garden bed, you want to make sure that you are putting something underneath to control the weeds, whether it's plastic or cardboard. I had a really good supply of cardboard that I had saved from last year, and that's what I laid out first. And just trying to get it set in the place that we wanted to was a bit of a challenge. My husband and I went back and forth, and to get it level was also something that you have to work on a little bit to make sure that it is sitting leveled. So once we got that in place where I wanted it, then we had to start filling it up. So you want to start out with some cheap filler, and we started by heading into the bush and grabbing large branches, twigs, stuff like that. That was taking us quite a while. Then I got looking around my garden, realized I had a huge pile of partially finished compost that had been sitting since last summer, and I thought, well, this is going to be a great filler. So I shoveled out that whole bin of compost, put it into this garden bed, and then from there I also had a large pile of wood chips from some trees that we had to tear down a couple years ago. So these wood chips had aged for a couple years, been sitting, so that was a good filler. So once I found those two things and filled in the garden bed, then we were ready for some good soil to start growing in. I'm very fortunate to have access to that living on a farm. Our neighbor had a huge pile of black dirt, aged manure that had been sitting for a few years. So my husband, bless his soul, went and filled up the back of his truck with some of that. And so this aged manure was going to be my main source of soil in this container, but it's a little heavy. So I also added peat moss into it, mixed it in just to lighten it up, to control moisture, keep that black dirt from compacting and getting too heavy. So we just filled it up as much as we could, knowing that it probably was going to sink a little bit. We probably could have put more into it, but it was all the black dirt that we had, and I was anxious to get planting my potatoes. So it did settle a little bit since we planted it, but again next year. Before growing, we can top it up with some more, fill it up again. So once that was all done, my beautiful new garden bed was ready for potatoes. And I was happy to have my 4-year-old grandson Henderson with me because he is the master of planting potatoes. I have videos of him helping me when he was just over a year old, planting potatoes. So it's been something that he's been doing with me for a few years now. So I dug the holes, he put in the potatoes, he knew to point the roots or the sprouts on the potatoes upward so that they grew properly. 30,
30, now what?
31.
41, 42, 43. They got 43!
Woohoo! So as I said at the beginning, I had made the switch to going with a garden bed kind of midstream. I had actually already started planting my potatoes under the straw with my traditional Ruth Stout method, and I just decided that I wanted to go with a garden bed instead. So this was early May, and I quickly placed my order with Grobox, and I had the new garden bed within 4 days. So I wasn't, falling behind on the potato planting time. I got all these potatoes planted in good time, I think about the second week of May. But as you can see, all those potatoes that I planted under straw before I brought in the garden bed really wanted to live, and they are popping up everywhere around here. You can see another one is popping through here, and another one here, here. So everywhere that they are still exposed to the sun, those potatoes push through that straw and they are growing. Of course, I couldn't dig them up. I'm going to let them go. But that just goes to show you how good the Ruth Stout method works as well. Those potatoes have been under straw, not getting watered, being trampled on basically by me while I was setting up my new garden bed, and they are still growing. So again, I'm thinking the Ruth Stout method is a great method if you are wanting to grow in the ground, with a method where you don't have to weed or water too much. So as you can see here, all of my potatoes are up now. I was able to run a line from my existing watering system here to this grow box and set up some drip lines all throughout. So I got a great watering system set up, and now I'm just working on mulching with some chopped up straw. I'm really enjoying my Grobox garden beds. I love container gardening. I find it really easy to maintain. It's easy on your back. It's easy to control weeds and easy to set up watering systems too. I have watering zones heading to all my containers here. But if you still prefer to grow in the ground, I highly recommend the Ruth Stout method, especially for potatoes. It's very easy to maintain, to keep them watered, to keep them weed free. I have potatoes growing everywhere. As you can see, I got some in containers here. These are Austrian crescents. In here, I have Yukon Gold. These ones that are coming up wherever they can are also Yukon Gold. And I had a bunch of containers at the back of my garden that had nothing growing in them. So if you got somewhere to put something, you might as well throw a few potatoes in. You can never have enough potatoes as far as I'm concerned. They are easy to store over the winter, and there is nothing better than a fresh potato from the garden. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video on how I set up my new raised garden bed for potatoes. I can see it's a little unlevel, so it's something we can work on in the fall when we top it up with more soil just to get it just right. But I'm really happy with the look of it and the ease of care that I'm going to have with this. So what kind of potatoes are you growing this year? Are you growing them in containers, grow boxes, or in the ground? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and I hope to see you in our community, Gardeners Growing Together.